The first beast, according to the book of Revelation 13, had paws like those of a bear, and some interpreters believe that this may symbolize Iran or its role in its emergence. The caliph who commissioned the historian Muhammad ibn Ishaq to record the prophetic biography, al-Sirah al-Nabawiyya, was the Abbasid caliph Abu Ja'far al-Mansur. The historical region of Khorasan, which played a pivotal role in the establishment of the Abbasid state, is located in Central Asia and the Iranian plateau.
The 13th chapter of the book of Revelation describes the beast as having a mouth like a lion's. By referring to the 7th chapter of the book of Daniel, where the lion symbolizes the kingdom of Babylon, some commentators see this description as having a symbolic meaning that points to the beast's association with attributes or characteristics ascribed to Babylon.
This expression, found in the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 2, refers to extreme cruelty and ferocity. The beast is likened to a lion to signify the destructive power of its jaws when devouring, its ability to crush its victims, and its use of force and harsh, destructive words against all that opposes it. The connotations of this expression can be divided into absolute ferocity. The jaws of a lion in nature leave no chance of escape, and its metaphor signifies a savagery that knows neither mercy nor retreat. Destructive speech and blasphemy. In the context of prophecies, the mouth is interpreted as a symbol of speech. Therefore, the lion's mouth symbolizes harsh words, categorical threats, and continuous attempts to destroy faith or spread terror. The symbolism of Satan. In theological tradition, Satan is referred to as the roaring lion, who roams about looking for someone to devour, which means that this beast has a predatory satanic nature.
Who lived in Babylon, or who were the Babylonians? The Bible, in the book of Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 20, states that they were Arabs. It also says that they left Babylon after its destruction, but it doesn't specify where they went. However, it seems logical that they migrated to the region that is now named after them. Factors in the building of Babylon. Violent military campaigns. The kings of Babylon, especially during the Neo-Babylonian period, such as Nebuchadnezzar II, relied on continuous raids to secure gold, silver, and timber, such as Lebanese cedar. The system of captivity and forced displacement. The inhabitants of defeated cities were transported en masse to Babylon, such as the Babylonian captivity of the Jews, to benefit from the knowledge and expertise of other lands in the construction of Babylon. These captives were used as cheap or forced labor to build the walls, temples, and palaces. Forced labor and imposed taxes. Babylon imposed heavy tribute on its vassal states and exploited the peoples of those regions in military service and arduous construction work. Depopulation of kingdoms of their elites. Captivity was not limited to the Jews alone, but included other peoples as well, where the Babylonians transported craftsmen, scholars, and leaders to benefit from their expertise in building the empire. In the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 12, the following verse states, "Woe to him who builds a city with bloodshed, and to him who establishes a town with iniquity." Habakkuk 2:12. Historical and spiritual context. This verse is part of a series of woes proclaimed by the prophet Habakkuk against the Babylonian Empire. The prophecies condemned Babylon for its cruelty, its plundering of many nations, its injustice, its shedding of human blood, and for establishing its glory and its city on violence and injustice. The Babylonian invasions, such as the campaigns of Nebuchadnezzar, and the Arab Islamic conquests or invasions, are similar in some political and military dimensions, such as expanding the territory of the empire, imposing central control, and clashing with the major neighboring powers. The second beast in Revelation chapter 13 came out of the earth and exercised all the authority of the first beast before him. The phrase, "before him" here can be understood to mean that he acted under his authority, believing in his power and representing him. The second beast came out of the earth and exercised all the authority of the first beast before him. It is noteworthy that the expression "before you" is also used in the Coptic Orthodox Mass, such as when we say, "Before you, O Lord," and it does not simply mean standing in the presence of God, but also carries the meaning of believing in him and acknowledging his presence, even though we do not see him with our eyes. From this perspective, the expression "before the first beast" can be understood as referring to acting in obedience to it and acknowledging its authority. It means that he does not see it but believes in it. The first beast is Islam, because it extended its dominion over the Arabian Peninsula, Iran, and the regions formerly under Alexander the Great, or Greek civilization. According to this interpretation, this aligns with the description of the first beast. Its mouth resembles a lion's, understood to symbolize the Arabs. Its paws are like a bear's, interpreted as representing Iran, and its form resembles the Greek-rooted kingdom of Antiochus Epiphanes. Antiochus Epiphanes sought to impose paganism on the Jews, even against their will, and Islam does the same. The second beast will emerge from the earth, and some interpreters see the earth as symbolizing Israel or the land of faith. In this context, attention is drawn to what is stated in 1 Maccabees, chapter 12, verses 20 to 21. From Arius, king of the Spartans, to Onias, the high priest, greetings. Furthermore, it is found in some scriptures that the Spartans and the Jews are brothers, descendants of Abraham. The Jewish historian Josephus Flavius also mentions, in his book Antiquities of the Jews, some accounts and genealogies relating to the sons of the prophet Abraham by his wife Keturah, which are sometimes cited in discussions of the historical origins and genealogies of peoples. The origin of the Romans and the Jews. These texts, in addition to what is mentioned in the first book of Maccabees, point to historical ties and kinship between the Jews and some ancient European peoples, such as the Spartans, who were later part of the Greek and Roman world, as they were all considered to be descended from the lineage of the prophet Abraham. Jewish migration to Tarshish. Some accounts and interpretations suggest that Tarshish may refer to Britain or England. According to these accounts, some Jews migrated there after the division of the Kingdom of Israel into two kingdoms, the northern and southern kingdoms. A number of them fled the northern kingdom due to the prevalence of idolatry and injustice. Some sources also indicate that many Jews sought refuge in Sparta following Nebuchadnezzar's destruction of Jerusalem. In the first book of Kings, 22:48-49, it is mentioned that Jehoshaphat built large merchant ships capable of sailing to Tarshish, which was then considered one of the most remote known regions in the farthest reaches of the Mediterranean Sea, with the aim of making trade voyages to it. He had partnered in this project with Ahaziah, king of Israel, but the ships were wrecked because of God's anger against Jehoshaphat, since he had allied himself with the wicked Ahaziah, as the second book of Chronicles, 20:37, explains. Jehaziah had joined forces with Ahaziah, king of Israel, in this venture. After this, Jehoshaphat built other ships of similar strength. When Ahaziah asked to partner with him again in the business, Jehoshaphat refused, having learned to obey God and not to associate with or partner with evildoers. The second Antichrist, as it is written in the book of Revelation, will come out of the earth, and it is understood that what is meant by the earth is Israel. Those who hold this interpretation believe that the children of Israel migrated to many lands and spread throughout the world, and that the descendants of Abraham are found in numerous regions, to the point that many may not even know their origins or their lineage. These interpretations suggest that the Israelites migrated to many lands and dispersed throughout the world, and that the descendants of Abraham are present in many places, so much so that many may not even know their origins or their ancestry. In contrast, the book of Daniel states that the Antichrist will emerge from the last dominant kingdom, which some interpret as the Roman Empire. This interpretation also suggests that the Romans and the Jews share a common ancestor, Abraham. The apocalyptic text refers to the first Antichrist, one of his heads, as though slain, and his fatal wound healed, which is interpreted historically as meaning that the Babylonian Empire was on the verge of collapse and complete annihilation following the material and Persian attacks against it. However, it reappeared at the beginning of the modern era. The Islamic one, as if Babylon had been healed of its fatal wound, so that the metal idol, which Nebuchadnezzar saw in his dream, could return to life once again. It is written in the book of Revelation, and he was given authority to do for 42 months. This means that the reign of the first Antichrist has an inevitable end, even though its duration seems relatively long by human standards, because it is measured in months. Although the divine approach to time differs, for today, 1,000 years in a year is like a day, except that the meaning of month in the interpretations, without going into its interpretive details here, confirms one basic matter: that the period of its existence and influence is limited and restricted to a specific time that cannot be exceeded. It is written in the book of Revelation, and he was given authority over every tribe, language, and nation. And in this context, some commentators see that the geographical and political influence of the first Antichrist seeks to expand globally and excludes no place. This is evidenced by attempts at expansion and the building of religious centers, and relying on huge financial flows to ensure presence and spread in various countries of the world, including distant societies such as Japan. The biblical text in Paul's second epistle to the Thessalonians, chapter 2, verse 7, refers to the concept of a restraining power. For now, The mystery of lawlessness is at work only until it is removed from the midst of that which now restrains. Accordingly, the appearance of the Second Antichrist is interpreted as a consequence of the decline of this power. Resistance and spiritual and civilizational struggle on the part of European societies. This weakness is evidenced by the adoption of ill-considered policies of openness towards political Islam and the widespread waves of migration. Theologically, it is possible that the Second Antichrist will appear before the first Antichrist disappears, which may lead to, according to the prophetic vision in the book of Daniel, chapter 7, to the submission and defeat of Europe before those rising powers which it had previously despised. The Muslim rejoices in traveling to Europe, America, and Australia, even to curse them with his curse, unaware of what will befall him and the entire world. For when the second Antichrist appears, it will be painful for him and for everyone, because no one will be convinced by the second Antichrist, and he will exert economic pressure on the world because he will rule the whole world. As the book of Revelation states, he will cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads. No one will be able to buy or sell unless they have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of its name. Here is wisdom. Who has understanding? Let him calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. When the Lord Jesus Christ appeared, many Jews and his disciples were convinced of him and preached everywhere. Because of their strong conviction, they died suffering torture, and many will die for him. Many nations participated in the work of first Antichrist. Arabs, Persians, and regions ruled by Alexander the Great and his successors. But when reading in the Quran does not state that Muhammad was an Arab, nor is there any text that says there was an Arab prophet. The books of Bukhari recount the stories of a highwayman who is not fit to be a prophet. However, after studying them, you will not be convinced if you are honest, because it is a human fabrication by many. As for the second Antichrist, it is disastrous. No one is convinced by it. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel and activate the like button to receive all new content.
Don't forget to support us by clicking the like button and subscribing to the channel to complete this series. Don't forget to write your opinion in the comments.